The first two episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man released on Disney+. I had a chance to watch them over the last couple of days, and here is my review. Alright, so The Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I wasn't really looking forward to. When it was announced as kind of like this prequel to Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies inside the MCU, that was where the idea was really interesting. But then they decided they wanted to do a different thing, took it to another universe, and then we started seeing clips of the animation, and people were like, I don't really know what I feel about the looks here. And then we got the looks of certain characters. I'm not someone who's really big into the race swapping part, but as soon as they saw Norman Osborn and Harry, a lot of people weren't into it. For me, the more that we see from from before the show release, what they're announcing, I was just like, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't sit right. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know if I like what I can feel what they're doing. And so going into this one, I was very nervous. Marvel animation is really hit or miss. You get shows like X-Men 97, which is phenomenal and the best series of the decade so far. And then you have What If, which has interesting premise, but, I mean, I just could never get hooked. It just felt like, oh, another episode came out. Time to watch What If. Yay. So I didn't really know what to think going into this show, but I was really nervous and not that excited. Before I tell you my thoughts, can you guys do me a big, huge favor and subscribe and hit the like button and hit the bell so you never miss another video? And what are your opinions on the first two episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? And with that said, here is my review of the new series. And for me, I thought it was good. I thought the first two episodes were flawed, yes, but I thought they were fine. I thought they were good. For me, I was expecting to be like, I don't know if I like this. And in the end, I was like, you know what? That was good. Let's start with the elephant in the room. The big elephant in the room is the animation. I'm really mixed on the animation. Sometimes it plays like it's a comic book, where you have the panels and then it just like keeps switching between panels. Really cool. The swinging, the action sequences, I think are animated really good. Specifically, the action sequences. We get two big action sequences in the first two episodes. I think they're all animated really good. It's smooth. It looks really good. On the other hand, when characters are just walking around doing their thing, I kind of feel like it feels empty. Feels soulless almost a little bit. Like, feels like we're in an empty world because of the animation. And I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but if you guys seen like Ultimate Spider-Man and stuff like that was just made for cable TV, it feels like animation like that, except if it was worse. Does that make sense? Like, the animation style is unique, but it can kind of make your world feel empty, if that makes any sense at all. It's very confusing, but when stuff is happening, it looks good. When stuff is not happening, they're just talking, it looks a little bit rough. It bothered me less in the second episode than it bothered me in the first episode, so that's saying something, but the animation was mixed for me. Voice cast, I think, is good. Hudson Thames, obviously you got people a little bit worried about him because he was making some comments in some articles recently about saying, oh, I don't want the show to be woke. Here's where I stand on that real quick. I understand not wanting your show to be woke. Like, I understand that. I agree with him on that. But why bring it up? Like, I really don't think it was a good idea to mention the word woke. Kind of felt like you're setting yourself for failure. Doesn't matter. Hudson Thames, I think, voices Spider-Man pretty good. He captures all the Peter Parker mannerisms. Every time Spider-Man's doing his quips, I think he's really good. I think Hudson Thames is really good. Coleman Domingo, he's in the show as Norman Osborn. In these first two episodes, we get one or two scenes with Norman Osborn in it. But obviously, I really like Coleman Domingo, so I do like him. So Hudson Thames, I do think is a pretty good Spider-Man. That's the point you should be taking out from here. The story itself, the world that they're changing, I get that's in a different dimension, but I like a lot of the stuff they're doing, and I'm extremely mixed on a lot of the stuff that they're doing. For one, I like the plot of the show. I like that Spider-Man is just starting out. He's fighting the bad guys. He's getting his internship at Osborn. There's plenty of intensity with the high school stuff. Obviously, we've all been in high school. We've all been nervous to ask a girl out. We've all had to mess up internships. So the intensity there, you could feel like, oh, I've been in that situation. Whoa. Then even though the specific plot about him asking out the girl was a little bit weird, considering the girl has a boyfriend, I felt like that was a tiny bit odd. You still feel the intensity out of the characters, and you feel like this has been something that we have all experienced. We also don't have much of a Spider-Man story yet. It was just kind of like, he's starting out, he's stopping bad guys, and that's about it. We don't know really anything about the story. So it's mainly just about Peter Parker. And I think the Peter Parker stuff works in here. It's the other characters I'm a little bit worried about. Specifically May. And that might seem a little bit weird for me to say, I don't really know what I think about May. I don't know what to think about May because of one specific sequence. May, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, in the comics, all that, never worries about money. She's always like, we'll figure out a way. We'll figure out a way. She never does. I've never seen a single Spider-Man adaptation that she's freaking out about money. And I know it's just a tiny sequence, like a tiny scene. But it kind of frustrates me when she turns around to Peter, when he's talking to Norman Osborn, and says, ask about money. Because that's not May. It's really not. And then you get characters like Harry Osborn, who we saw one sequence in this season, or in these 2 episodes, and was kind of weird. It was a kind of a weird sequence, I think. And so certain characters, even Peter Parker's origin story, where he literally gets bit by a spider that was from another dimension, that Doctor Strange was fighting alien symbiote venom-like thing, is really weird. And again, the action's really cool. I like watching the action, but the characters, the plot is a little bit weird. I'm a little mixed on, because a lot of it feels like Spider-Man, and a lot of it doesn't feel like Spider-Man. And that's the point you should be taking away here, that the show is just mixed. I'm extremely mixed by these first 2 episodes. Whether it's the animation, whether it is the characters, whether it is the overall story here, they're just little sequences that make it feel like, oh, this feels like a Spider-Man fan fiction that was written by a fan. This doesn't feel like Spider-Man. I get that you can say, it takes place in an alternate universe. I get that. I understand it takes place in an alternate universe. But for me, Spider-Man has to have these certain things. And while Peter Parker himself, the Spider-Man stuff is working, I feel like a lot of it is just, I don't feel like Spider-Man, or I don't feel like any of these characters that we love from the Spider-Man universe would be doing this. So it is very clearly from a different world, and it is very jarring. Certain sequences can take me out, because I'll be like, actually, I don't feel like that character would do that. I don't feel like this would happen. I will say, the ending of episode 2 got me very excited to see what is next. I mean, I really liked the ending of episode 2 because, not to spoil, but it left off on a cliffhanger, and I really want to see what happens next. It's taking it in a different direction than I expected, and so that's a positive because it's something we haven't seen before, but I'm still really mixed. I really hope that the rest of the series kind of starts doing the right things and getting these characters to feel like Spider-Man characters. Because if not, it'll come off as a Spider-Man fan fiction. There's not anything wrong with a Spider-Man fan fiction, but that's what it is. It feels like a fan fiction. So these first 2 episodes, I liked more than I thought I'd like. I enjoyed watching them. I am cautiously excited to see what happens next. But I'm still overall mixed, and I'm not completely sold on the season yet. I want to know what you guys think of the first 2 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and are you guys excited for the rest of the show? I will be having shorts coverage. I'm not going to film long-form reviews, but I will upload on YouTube Shorts and then on my Instagram page on little updates of each thoughts on each episode as they release on Wednesdays. But I want to know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss another video. And with that said, thanks for clicking on this one.